So let me ask you a question. Was this a righteous crusade to defend corporate dignity, or a brutal campaign to silence a consumer's voice? The answer, as always, is probably somewhere in the middle. But what's undeniable is that this was a grand social experiment sparked by a humble pair of red underwear. And you're going to want to hear how it ends. Upbeat, conspiratorial. Welcome, friends, to a tale of commercial magical realism. A story so bizarre it could only happen today. We're talking about a heavyweight retail champion duking it out with the social media gladiator in the battle of the bleeding red panties. Building the narrative. This is a modern-day epic, a Molotov cocktail of Rashomon and Aaron Brockovich set in the fluorescent-lit aisles of a Chinese supermarket. In one corner, we have a corporate titan valued at $16.9 billion. In the other, a fiery influencer with millions of followers. This story has it all: a $500 reward for a complaint, followed by a $1 million lawsuit for that same complaint. Leaning in, as if sharing a secret. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's unravel this corporate thriller, full of more twists and turns than a daytime soap opera. Setting the scene. Our story begins during the Chinese New Year of 2025. It's the second day of the festival when the customer service desk at the Pangdonglei supermarket in Shucheng gets a call. The complaint? A pair of red underwear is bleeding dye, allegedly causing an allergic reaction. Now, at any normal supermarket, this would be a 10-minute affair. Sorry to hear that, here's a refund, maybe a coupon for your trouble. End of story. Emphatic. But Pangdonglei, this is not a normal supermarket. With a tone of reverence. This is a place hailed as a retail utopia, a company whose sales rocketed from $10.7 billion in 2023 to a staggering $16.9 billion in 2024, a place where employees earn more than civil servants, and the return policy is so legendary, you can bring back a watermelon you've already eaten half of. Their service manual literally states, "The customer is never wrong. If someone is wrong, it must be us." A beat of silence for effect. This time, that philosophy was about to bite them in the back. Because the complainant, Ms. Duan, was no ordinary customer. She's a queen of content, reigning over a digital kingdom of 1.3 million followers on a certain short video platform, with a backup army of 50,000 loyalists. Descriptive, almost cinematic. In the video she filmed, the red underwear swirls in a basin of hot water like a blood-red setting sun. Her caption, a scathing accusation: "Even Pangdonglei sells defective junk." Within 48 hours, that video had harvested 12.17 million views. Analytical. To put that in perspective, that's like 1 out of every 100 people in China having seen it. You have to admit, she had absolutely cracked the viral code. Little did she know, that code would come with a 400,000 won price tag. Shifting tone to corporate action. Pangdonglei's response was a masterclass in crisis management with a shocking twist. On February 4th, the day of the complaint, they formed a special task force and pulled the entire brand of underwear from their shelves nationwide. Listing the facts. On February 6th, they issued a public apology admitting to lapses in management. And then on Valentine's Day, February 14th, they dropped their bombshell, a 53-page investigation report. That's longer than a copy of the 3-Body Problem. With growing disbelief, the report revealed they had spent 143,000 yuan of their own money to send the underwear to 3 separate, independent testing agencies. The garments were stretched, boiled, and chemically tormented. The result from all 3? Dramatic pause. Perfectly qualified, no issues. Ironically, and here's where it gets truly surreal, While one hand of the company was offering Ms. Duan a $500 complaint award and reimbursing her 1,144 yuan in medical fees, the other hand was slapping her with a lawsuit. The damages they sought, no less than 1,000,000 yuan. Sharp, witty. A pivot so sharp, it would give a Sichuan opera face-changing performer whiplash. Informative aside. Now, I have to give you some context. This $500 award is a signature move for Peng Donglei. It's part of their official policy. If a customer offers a suggestion or points out a flaw, they get cash. In 2023 alone, they paid out over 2 million won in these awards. But this time, the award money never made it. Instead, they spent 60,000 yuan on lawyers' fees. A terrible return on investment, you might think. Quoting with authority. But as Peng Donglei's founder Yu Donglai put it, we need to remind everyone to be rational. The subtext, we'll spoil our customers rotten, but we draw the line at a shakedown. Gravely, like a judge reading a verdict. The court's final judgment reads like a modern business parable. It found Ms. Duan guilty on 3 fatal counts. First, she declared the product defective without waiting for any test results. Second, as a media personality, she utterly failed to perform her due diligence. And third, her video directly caused a nationwide boycott of the underwear brand by other retailers. A 400,000 yuan fine. And she was ordered to post a public apology on her social media platforms for 30 consecutive days. That's a heavier punishment than what some streamers get for selling actual counterfeit goods. This verdict sent a shockwave through the world of online activism. It was a stark reminder that influence is a double-edged sword. When you swing it, you'd better be careful not to chop off your own fingers. The irony is thick enough to cut with a knife. Peng Donglai, after this massive controversy, saw its sales for the first quarter of 2025 jump by 18%. It turns out that modern consumers love a brand with a clear personality, one that knows when to be kind and when to fight back. Ms. Duan's main account, meanwhile, hemorrhaged 23,000 followers in 2 days, an absolute avalanche. And the underwear brand at the center of it all, Funilai, they struck gold. They staged a live stream where they just sat there washing their own underwear in boiling water to prove it didn't bleed. The follower count exploded. In this day and age, there truly is no such thing as bad publicity. The merchant's playbook has more shades than a box of crayons. China's Civil Code, Article 1024, protects the right to one's reputation, but putting it into practice is a high-wire act. Ms. Duan's video absolutely triggered a crisis of faith, forcing Peng Donglai to pull millions of yuan worth of dark-colored textiles off their shelves. The court's 400,000 yuan figure wasn't pulled from thin air. It included the hard cash, the 143 for testing, the 60,000 for lawyers, but it also included a valuation for something far more abstract, the metaphysical damage to their brand. And you know what? That seems fair. A good reputation is a company's most precious invisible asset. The lessons for the rest of us in this saga are better than any TV drama. First, if you're going to call someone out online, don't just film a dramatic video. Build a chain of evidence first. Otherwise, you might find yourself switching from the plaintiff's table to the defendant's table. Second, for businesses, the era of groveling service is over. Know when to stand your ground. Peng Donglai's move was risky, but it paid off, proving customers respect a company with a spine. Third, the internet is not the Wild West, especially for influencers. An account with 1.3 million followers wields the destructive power of a small missile. This 400,000 yuan lesson just set the market price for recklessness. And finally, a little piece of black humor for you. In this entire war, the only party that was guaranteed to make a profit was the testing agencies. 3 labs charged 140,000 yuan to give a pair of underwear a full physical, only to sign off on a clean bill of health. That's a business with better margins than selling the underwear itself. As for the rest of us, the spectators, we got a free front row seat to a corporate drama, a public legal masterclass, and we witnessed a retail giant's thunderous counterattack. The only one that truly lost is Miss Dwan. From now on, every post she makes will have to be weighed and measured. After all, she just learned a lesson that cost her 1,333 yuan per word. A contemporary poet reflecting on this might have said, "In the great sea of commerce, a giant takes the stage. On a river of red dye, a new chapter is on the page. A simple piece of fabric, a test of a human heart, where a million viral views can tear a world apart. When keyboards roar like thunder and rumors fall like rain, the gavel of the court makes the simple truth plain. 400,000 buys a lesson sharp and clear, a public education for all of us to hear. The web is not a wasteland beyond the law's decree, so choose your words with caution for all the world to see." That's all for this episode. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.